Hi, my name is Alison Jose. In this Shaping Policies for the Future critical appraisal, I examine key national policies in Australia, specifically the National Waste Policy, the National Environmental Management Plan on PFAS, the National Plastics Plan, plus a specific GST exemption alongside voluntary product stewardship schemes. While these policies operate in silos, they are interconnected. Therefore, the issue is the failure to unify key stakeholder industries under circular economy strategies, specifically addressing textile-based products. This oversight is evident in the National Circular Economy Framework and the National Kerbside Collections Roadmap, both released in December 2024 by the Department of Climate Change, Energy, the Environment and Water. The lack of policy cohesion, regulation and utilisation of smart technology keeps interconnected industries fragmented, hindering large-scale action on textile waste, plus development of circular economy systems and achieving measurable environmental targets. Without regulations, the textile and waste industries continue operating largely unchecked. Clothing manufacturing is the third largest contributor to emissions, and both sectors significantly contribute to pollution. Circular economy requires integrating open and closed loops, plus aligning waste hierarchies. This is particularly relevant in Australia, which heavily relies on both importing products and exporting waste. In 2024, the Australia Institute named Australia the world's largest per capita consumer of textiles, with an average of 56 new clothing items purchased per person each year. This equates to over 300,000 tonnes of clothing sent to landfill or exported annually. And the Victorian government reports that around 95% of clothes sent to landfill could be reused or recycled. However, a recent RMIT University study found that many donated garments are such poor quality that they hold little financial benefit for charities, leading to these items being discarded or exported. Of the quantity just going to Australian landfills, Statistica estimates this to be around 924 million pieces of unwanted clothing, heaping the costs on councils, residents and resource recovery providers such as charities. Diverting this waste alone could reduce emissions equivalent to removing around 196,000 petrol cars from the road each year. Also, by not closing the low-value import threshold tax exemption loophole, the government has continued to allow the flow from ultra-fast fashion brands like Shein and Temu to flood the market with unregulated products that also may not adhere to our Modern Slavery Act. Given their low quality and potential use of forever chemicals, these products contribute significantly to pollution and landfill, particularly through curbside council pickups. This impacts the National Environmental Management Plan on PFAS, which is disconnected from circular economy solutions. Without regulation and smart technology, there's no effective way to identify and divert PFAS containing products like fast fashion and uniforms, making proper sorting and safe disposal nearly impossible. Similarly, the National Plastics Plan could fast-track washing machine filter regulations to capture microfiber pollution from both commercial and domestic machines. While France is enforcing this by 2025, Australia has delayed implementing until 2030. Given these waste statistics, it's difficult to align them with the Circular Economy Framework and the Kerbside Collections Roadmap, as textile circularity is not addressed. The 2024 National Waste Policy Action Plan aims to reduce total waste by 10% per person for 2030, yet this goal will have little impact when considering textile waste and highlights the urgent need to significantly address textile resource recovery. The government claims Australia's resource recovery rate is approximately 63%, yet this figure is sure to have excluded textiles. The reliance on industry self-reporting and the absence of regulations raise serious concerns about data accuracy. The framework also aims to double its circularity by 2030, but a CSIRO study shows Australia's circularity rate is just 4.6%, already well below the global average of 7%. The Victorian government reported in 23 that 7% of textile waste is currently recycled. Yet without verified data, this claim is questionable, given the global textile recycling is estimated at just 1%. Furthermore, their definition of recycling is unclear. In a circular economy context, textile recycling involves processing old textiles into new fibres, textiles, or products. And the state government's figures may be attempting to refer to extended producer responsibility solutions, where products remain in circulation through resale, rent, repair, redesign, or remaking. However, most ultimately end up in landfill, either locally or offshore. In some cases, recycling is merely a euphemism for exporting waste elsewhere. An approximating 2021 ABC TV documentary, Dead White Man's Clothes, revealed that Australian shipments arrived in Ghana's Accra market contained up to 40% unusable clothing deemed worthless on arrival. Many were initially donated, however, they will have ended up dumped in landfills, polluting their waterways and beaches. Given this impact, it's disappointing that textile solutions are absent from the Minister's December 2024 National Kerbside Collections Roadmap. Its strength is to aim to standardise curbside collection services across Australia, but then omits landfill diversion strategies for textiles. Instead, textiles will now be placed in the yellow mixed recycling bins alongside glass, metal, plastic, paper and cardboard, leading to cross-contamination and ineffective wish cycling. Dedicated textile sorting and recycling facilities remain disconnected and costly without support. Much of the curbside policy focuses on the success of the Australasian recycling label for packaging, yet the newly introduced minimum national collection list excludes textiles entirely. Textile waste differs from other waste streams due to its material complexity, lifespan, and disposal challenges. Solutions to create circular economy systems for textiles remain fragmented across policies. Weaknesses in the government's waste action plan and product stewardship schemes include prioritising recycling over true circularity, neglecting the second principle of a circular economy, extended producer responsibility. Instead, the recommendation is to skip straight to recycling. This is likely due to a lack of understanding of smart tech solutions, such as digital product passports, already being implemented in the EU. This is despite textiles and bedding being identified on the federal government's priority list in 2020 and again in 23-24. Yet they were completely absent from the latest Senate Standing Committee on Waste Reduction and Recycling Policies in September. Speaking at the committee, John Gatsakis, co-director of the Product Stewardship Centre of Excellence, noted that policymakers need a fundamental shift in mindset to embrace regulation positively. He emphasised that schemes require a high level of industry or business investment and participation, and regulation is essential for Originally, the National Product Stewardship Investment Fund allocated $10.5 million to establish 24 schemes, 10 of which focused on textile-based products. However, these schemes still remain voluntary, unregulated, and disconnected, despite sharing common resource recovery networks. $1 million was allocated exclusively to developing a scheme for fashion and clothing, with little focus on extended producer responsibilities before recycling. John Gatsakis highlighted this issue, stating there is an overemphasis on end-of-life interventions and therefore a gross lack of waste avoidance initiatives and activity to design out waste. In contrast, the EU Commission has introduced enforceable regulations for textile-based products, including mattresses and toys, under their 2020 Circular Economy Action Plan. This includes the Eco-Design for Sustainable Product Regulations plus mandatory digital passports to ensure accountability, compliance, prevent greenwashing, provide trusted data, engage consumers, and provide measurable metrics. This is advantageous for Australia, where we could learn from the EU's best-case circular economy systems. However, a lack of cohesion exacerbates policy gaps, making it difficult to meet environmental and policy targets. Without smart tech tools and enforceable regulations, the government depends on self-reporting and estimated data, which are then presented as factual metrics.